Good morning and welcome back to the One Celtic Fans View this morning. Celtic fans today have the opportunity to send a message to the PLC. Will they do it today? How many people will have bought tickets for the Europa League? Today is the last day that season ticket holders can buy the 4-match package. How many Celtic fans will buy the package? How many Celtic fans will just refuse it altogether and say, nah, I don't fancy it? Season ticket holders have until 5 p.m. to secure their seat at Paradise for the league phase of the Europa League. Are you excited about it? Is the Europa League... let's do a quick poll on that one and see if we can... let me just go back to here. Let's do a quick poll this morning. There we go. We'll get an indication of how people are feeling about it this morning. Are you going to the UEFA Europa League games? Yes or no? Simple. And we'll get a feeling for the people that are on the live this morning. If you're watching this on playback, if you're watching this after the live has finished, tell me in the comment section if you're going to the Europa League games, yes or no. And it's just to get a feel personally for myself on how the bigger fan base is actually looking at it. I know that a lot of people don't fancy the Europa. When we were in the Europa a long time ago, there was a big section of the top tier closed. When we were in the Europa under Ange Postecoglou, the stadium was full. It's a bit different this time. With the financials ready to come out on Monday, I still think it'll be Monday that the financials do come out, with the season ticket holders having to 5 p.m. tonight. Monday morning, Celtic will put out the financials for the company for the previous year. I think it'll be Monday morning that it'll also go live with the tickets for the Europa. And that's when it'll get interesting, because you'll be able to go into the Celtic website on Monday and you'll be able to see exactly how many seats are empty. How many seats are available, should we say? Yeah, we'll spark it up a bit the way that Celtic normally do it. We'll see how many seats are available, and we'll see how Celtic plug this one out, because if the financials go the way that we're expecting them to go, for the club to be in massive profit once again, player trading, etc., profitable club in a good financial place, everything's rosy in the garden, sit down, shut up and enjoy yourself. Just don't sing rebel songs and please don't put off pyro. Just be happy. Would be something that the Celtic board may go along the lines, or will they go with a sort of more smoother? Will it be, we appreciate you as customers? Oh my goodness, I can only imagine. I wouldn't like to be the person that's writing Peter Lawwell's speech for him. Anyway, not his speech, but you know what I mean. So let's get into this poll straight away. There's been 48 votes straight away. 75% are saying no so far, and 25%. There's not a lot of people online this morning. I might try and put this poll on the community tab. So yeah, we'll do that. We'll go into the community tab and we'll put the poll up there as well, just so we get an indication. It's alright, Paul, I was going to be late this morning anyway. I had it'll be ChatGPT that writes it. Oh, has anyone actually ran the statement that came out from Celtic? Has anyone ran it? I need to do it. I'll do it this afternoon. I'll run it through a bit of software, and you can tell how much of it is actually written by AI. You can't hide it. You can't hide when it's written by AI. Hence the reason that Google are clamping down on websites all over the place. Anyway, when we get to the Celtic news, it is all about the game this weekend. Look, whatever happened with the Europa, people will either buy the tickets. Let's just see what people are saying about the tickets in the chat. Let me just see. Not really bothered about being in the Europa League. Yeah, I get that. Can't afford the games, unfortunately, Baz, but for an All-Star boycott as a team, still need support. Not sure if I'd boycott. I mean, there'll be a lot of people that won't boycott it, because there'll still be, I mean, there's still going to be a lot of fans that will want to go to the Europa away games. You know, you're still getting thousands of fans that are going to the Europa away games. And boycott, this is my thought on it. I mean, when you boycott games at home, and fair enough, I'm going to be honest with you this morning. This is when you see the true fan base. Just like under the Ronnie years. This is when you see the hardcore fans that go week in, week out, and that have done for years. Over the many, many years that I've followed Celtic, you get to know everyone that goes to all the away games. You see the same faces all the time. And it'll be those faces that are going to the Europa away games this year. I mean, I've seen loads of people booking up ages ago when we got the dates, and it's the same people that go every year. You know, they like to go to their European away days. They'll probably go to the games at Celtic Park. I think the ones that... Are you alright in there? You okay? Right. Yeah, crazy. Shushed. But anyway, yeah, it'll be an interesting to see, because Celtic won't be able to hide how many people have not bought their tickets. There's no way that you can manufacture the results to say. There's no way that you can manufacture the data, is the talk that they like to use. Purely for the fact that you'll be able to go onto the Celtic website, seats for Feyenoord. Boom. How many? That'll probably be the game that sells out. That'll probably be the only game that sells out, is the Feyenoord game. But anyway, it's been ran. Many found it to be 70% AI chat. That's embarrassing by the club if it was. That is embarrassing. Imagine putting out an AI statement in this day and age when it's so easy to find out if it's been run by AI or not. Whoever writes, well, that's another point that people will talk about. I mean, for me, I think that the main head that has to roll is Peter Lawwell for his part in certain things. But I'm also, if the guy that runs the PR, who's been in position for 20... No one person should be in a PR position in one company for 20 odd years. Because you don't change. You don't... I mean, how up is he on Twitter? How up is he on TikTok? Let's face it, because that's where your PR needs to be done these days. PR, when you've got the title PR, public relations, that's fucking giving out paper statements to... emailing statements to the newspapers. It's a very old-fashioned way. And I think he needs to go as well. Because we can all agree that the videos that we get out on YouTube, I mean, Celtic put out a 2-minute video yesterday. And Lennox Town Unfiltered. They spend about a minute and a half watching the players coming out, saying good morning. And you're thinking, yeah, I can understand that you're not wanting to give too much information away about how the players train, any tactical things that are going on. But there's a little bit more that there's sneaky ways that you can edit it. I mean, a very good editor can edit things so that you're not seeing the whole tactical formation. Well, not that there is you don't need to be a great tactical coach, do you, to see the way that Celtic are going to line up, because all opposing teams do is just go to a flat back 6 and go, right, Celtic, come and attack us for 80 minutes. But anyway, whoever writes it should put in his registration exactly, and I think it should be the PR guy. For me, it should be the PR guy, and the team needs support, Baz. I can get Baz. Yeah. The team does need all the support, but the team's not in a bad place. Yoga did it on a Celtic State of Mind in his own word, and I've got a better statement. I think 60% chance of it was AI. There we go. Anyway, we move on. After 20 years in your job, it's a comfort zone. Yeah, it is, isn't it? I mean, you need a little bit of excitement. I mean, I'm going to be honest. How many, over the 20 years, how many new training courses has this guy went on to find out about new media platforms? I mean, I can remember back in 2015 going on a marketing course, and I paid $1,000 to spend a day with this guy. And within the first 5 minutes, he turned around to me and goes, "Why are you here? Because you're pretty much doing what I'm about to teach everyone else in the room that has no idea about this stuff." And I was like, well, it's always good to see what other people are doing. You know, it was all, I mean, it was using YouTube back in 2015 for marketing, for business. And I'm just wondering, what has this guy done over the 20 years to improve his skill set? Because surely that should come under some kind of review on a yearly basis. I mean, I know that he's just head of a department. He's head of public relations, but I'm not too sure. I think Celtic team might be an upset in Europe this year. Do you think that this Celtic team might be an upset in Europe this year, Your Excellency? Morning, anyway. Could you say a little Hail Mary for Brendan through his hard times, and that he comes out the other side just in a good place? Because there's a lot of darkness within inside Celtic Football Club at the moment that is projecting evil out there. So Pope Leo, if you could just say a few prayers for Brendan and hope that these powers of darkness are removed from Celtic Football Club and that Lucifer can take them away to fucking wherever he wants. Good morning, Baz. And everyone watching says, Jed, no package for me. Nearly £800 for a season ticket with no friendly game included. Not getting a penny from me to watch a lesser quality on the pitch. Still need to push for change. Yeah, I'm all for pushing for change. I still want to push for change. Time will tell if the players that have come in are of a lesser quality. Let's be a bit respectful to the likes of Tenekti and Balwishka, and even our new striker. Been going since 1961, thick and thin, support the team. I respect everyone's views, says David. Yeah, David, and that's when I ran the bus. You always had the older ones that sat down the front that could tell you the stories. Of old times at Celtic and harder times at Celtic. And let's face it, this isn't really a hard time at Celtic, is it? I mean, Dave, you'll agree with me that when you look back the history of the club, I mean, going back to the 70s, you could say was a bad period for the club. We come into the 80s, we went through testing times when it comes to a European context, definitely testing times. It was a very enthusiastic time. I think it was maybe the heyday of Scottish football for various reasons. I think 1980s, yeah, I think that people that lived it would say that the 1980s would be an exciting time for Scottish football. And maybe a lot of people hoped that the 1980s had kind of continued and we had the competition that was in the league then. When you think about Aberdeen doing well in Europe, Dundee United doing fantastic in Europe as well on an ongoing basis, and Rangers finishing 4th and 5th in the league. Normal, as they say. But when you got into the 1990s, everything changed. One team decided to become dominant, and even though they only won the one treble, and then it was up to Celtic really to stand up to those evil eyes. Because no other club in Scotland really did it. No other club in Scotland seemed to have the willpower. You know, Dundee United under the McLeans had a right grasp on the club and they had a willpower to try and match the Glasgow 2. Aberdeen had a willpower at that time to match or beat the Glasgow 2. and it's kind of trickled away. It's whatever happened to the motivation or finances of clubs during the 1990s and 2000s has decimated Scottish football ever since. So there could only really be one. There could only be one, as to quote a sentence from the Highlander film. And Celtic were that one. And then it was Celtic who had the ambition to become the dominant team in Scottish football. Do you know, never mind, it's like we've got to be better. And has that been a bad agenda from the PLC over the years? Has that one nucleus of just being better than the team at the other side of Glasgow held Celtic Football Club back over the years? I think it kind of has. It's held us back with the fact that we just haven't wanted to try and push that little bit further on a European context. Europe has always just been about enjoying yourself, have a happy couple of away days. Happy couple of away days and enjoy the little bit of revenue that comes in from European football. Obviously the goal was to be in the Champions League where the big money is, but there was never big money in the Europa, so it was always So it'll be interesting come 5 o'clock today when the 4-match package is slammed shut, just like the transfer window. You'll not be able to buy your 4-match pack. You will. Brendan Rodgers would disagree. He was spoilt in this era of football. 1980 Scottish football was booming. It was, wasn't it? It was and I don't think there's many folk look back on the 1980s as being a golden era of Scottish football. And it got even better going into the late 80s and into the 1990s because English football were banned from Europe. Do you know they were banned from Europe? So we never took advantage of that. Our team is one empty top tier CSC. Don't joke, because that's what it's going to be like. And it'll be the away end. They'll just make sure that they'll move everyone about, or will they? Or will they just leave sporadic spaces all over the place? Then along came the English Premier League just to spoil it, and Celtic were unable, and Celtic and the old Sevco were unable to match the wages on offer down south. Wasn't that long ago that Celtic went to Hampden to build Celtic Park, and we had about 20 odd draws. Murder. Yeah. I kind of blanked that year out, James, to be honest. And I'll be honest, I never went to Hampden. I couldn't face sitting at Hampden and that's bad of me. It is. But it wasn't our ground. Don't think we're spoilt. Think we've earned where we are. Yeah, we have earned. You've got to, as Brendan Rodgers and any football person will say, it's you can only beat what's in front of you. And over the years, it doesn't matter who's been in the league. You can only beat whoever's in the league. Do we need to make the league bigger? I mean, there's a whole load of questions that could come out of the end of this charade, but we'll wait and see. 70s was the start. Every English club that had staff, at least one Scotsman in their team, and it was normal. The star of the team, most English teams have a Scots legend. Yeah, but that then gets back to the bigger issue of what's happened to Scottish football. Well, you can look at Italian football just now, and look at Liam Henderson. And the reason I talk about Liam Henderson, Celtic released a video yesterday with Liam Henderson, the star. And I remember this night, back in 2014, Firhill 2014, Celtic sealed 3 in a row with a young Liam Henderson scoring his first senior goal. And I remember that night. And I used to love going to Firhill. It was one of the better away grounds to go to. There's nothing wrong about it. I mean, you got your carry out on the bus and you parked up that road that goes round the back of the stadium. All the buses park up that. You come along the front, go round, park up, and it was always a good away day at Firhill. But getting back to Liam Henderson and all the other young Scottish lads that are now going over to Italy to make a name for themselves. I mean, I think Liam Henderson's been around maybe about, is it 4 or 5, 6 Italian teams? That's some going for a wee lad for Edinburgh. Do you know, that's some going for a wee lad that was unfancied at Celtic. And I always thought that he came through the ranks at Celtic at a time where we had an abundance of good midfield players, and I thought he was a fantastic young player. But when you think about all the good Scottish players that played in England back then, we just haven't had the quality. I mean, that run for Henderson was brilliant. And what's the difference between 2014, watching that back from Celtic TV? There's no low block. I mean, Liam Henderson gets a fantastic run. I said you in there because that was his brother, wasn't it? He played for Celtic as well. And then went to Hibs. When you watch the passage of play, there's no low block. You know, it was a different game altogether in 2014. And I think that we need to stop putting pressure on Brendan Rodgers and the manager and the staff for the style of football that we're playing. Because we can only play against what we're up against. You know, there's only 4 players. When Henderson scores his goal, there's only 4 players in the box, and that's defenders. When you look at teams now, when Celtic go on the attack, there's around about 5, 6, 7, 8. I don't know where I'm going with that this morning. Just need some hilarity. We miss street football and jumpers for goalposts. Yes. And do you know what's interesting? Having had the family over this week and staying in Alicante, the lads were amazed how many football pitches there were in and around areas where people stay. 5-a-side pitches, you know, big full-size pitches everywhere. And maybe that is, but it's the way that Scottish football tried to bring it down and have it organised. You know, it's you've got to be at a team. You've got to be at a team from a young age. You're not allowed to go out and play football. When you get picked up by football teams these days, you have to do your training on the pitch. You have to do your training. You're not allowed to play football at home. You're not allowed to play football with your mates in the garden in case you get an injury and it ruins your career. But in Spain, they let young kids play football against the church wall whilst the adults are inside in mass. It is all a different thing. Keeping it on about the waiting list. A group desperate to see Celtic. Where are they? Newcastle. Yeah. Joe, you're right. Keep hearing about a waiting list for a group desperate to see Celtic. Where are they? Versus the Newcastle game and the Falkirk game. This is when you'll know. It's a big moment for Celtic on Monday. If Monday is the day that the Celtic release these tickets to the masses, this is when you'll know. But then again, people will say, well, there's a boycott on, so I don't want to. I'm not a scab, mate, and I'm not crossing the line. Free the tickets. And maybe there will be a bit of that. But I do think, and I've said this before, there's a lot of big time Charlies that follow Celtic and just want to be there for the good times. Be there for the good times. Happy View every Sunday. Great days. And then we had no ball game signs everywhere. Yeah, we used to use the no ball game signs for posts, to be fair. But anyway, good times. Right, that's really it for this morning. Celtic haven't put out a whole lot of information over the last 24 hours. All they have put out is the fact that young Liam Miller scored an absolute cracker of a goal on I'm sure it was that not a midweek game? I can't remember. I remember it was at night, that was it. No, it was a midweek game. Anyway, getting ready for the Scottish Premier Sports Cup this weekend. Brendan Rodgers may roll out a player today for the media. They may roll one out tomorrow since it's Sunday. Then, and when's the team photo getting taken? This is what I want to see. We're now on the 18th of September, and happy birthday to my brother, by the way. He'll not be watching, but happy birthday to my brother Kev, who was here just last week. But anyway, it'll be interesting to see when Celtic do put out the first team, because as it stands, they still haven't added Dane Murray or that into the Celtic first team. Excuse me. And will they get promoted into the first team? Because they're in the first team. They don't play for the B team. But their pictures aren't in the first team squad. And if they do, it'll make the squad a little bit bigger. Anyway, on that note, we're going to finish off the poll. We've got 175, 176. If you're watching this back, and it's obviously the poll isn't live, tell me your thoughts. Are you going to the UEFA Europa League games? Over 176 people have voted in 24 minutes. And there's not a lot of people on at this time of day, sorry, because I was late this morning. But it's a massive 82% are saying no. Now that's just a small portion. That's just a small portion. There's one comment I wanted to get up there. Where did it go to? The Hibs tickets, for example, yesterday, near enough sellout already in less than 24 hours. Yeah. That tells you all. Joe says, Baz, when Rangers died, was it true that Lawwell had to go around the other clubs? I don't think he had to go around the other clubs, but he had the opportunity to kill that club off, and they didn't. They allowed them in the... Don't even get me started on that fucking debacle. They should have been given the same thing as Gretna to start over again. They were allowed in the back door. None of this nonsense we were demoted to the 4th division. They shouldn't have been allowed to get back in the way they did. Lawwell had a chance to put a nail in that coffin, and he didn't. And for me, that was always unforgivable. He had a chance. They were liquidated. Gone. Nada. Nil. Stadium should have been set off to Asda. But it wasn't. Anyway, on that note, playing Kirby and football and tennis outside, yeah. That were the good old days, eh? There's not as many cars on the road. You could play Kirby then. It's not the team's fault what's going on. Back them 110%, says the Pope. And I'm all with that. You can't go against the big man. Anyway, on that note, have a fantastic day. Celtic fans, wherever you are. Family's all gone. We're all back to normal. Thank goodness. Because YouTube takes a bit of a hit when the family are over. But that's it. They're all gone. Done. Dusted. Up to Alicante Airport for the very last time. Have a fantastic day. Celtic fans, wherever you are. All around the world.